Happy One Book July, everybody. I have wanted to do a video for quite a while. Um, this has just been a hard year. I haven't found a system that worked for me. I've tried so many things. I've been in a Hobonichi, I've been in a Midori Traveler's Notebook, I've been in a Jibun Checho, and lots of variations that combine some things. And I had a lot of problems. I think part of the reason that I switched around so much is my needs kind of varied over time. And actually, I was even in a Filofax at the beginning of the year. So I have just been switching around so much and spending so much more money than I normally do. I've never purchased multiple systems really to any great degree. I I'm just sick about it because it's all kind of a waste, and I've had a lot of requests for videos along the way. You know, what am I using? How is it working? And I mean, it's really hard for me to do because I found that the last few videos I did, which granted were probably maybe two over the last year, I wasn't really settled in a system. And I know a lot of people do them, when they first set up a system and they're in it and they're really excited. And, I'm always so disappointed to find they're not in that system anymore because I just find for me, what I think would be most helpful for people is to see something that's working for me. And not necessarily that it's going to work for them, but at least I can say why it works or what the problems are. But to have me every literally probably month say, and now I'm in this and I love it, feels kind of weird to me. I really like sharing, but I really like sharing things that work. And because those are the things that I find helpful. I mean, there are people who do video reviews, like Vegan Organizer does really, really great in-depth reviews. I mean, she's done reviews on things that I've had and used, and I didn't even realize some of the things she talks about. She literally goes page by page. And Miss Vicky B also does a lot of reviews on different things. And that's different than what I'm really talking about because I really want like a whole I really want to do a video on something that's working for me. Um, I I mean, that's just the way I am. So yeah, so One Book July that started at late June. People were talking about it, and I've seen Romani's video, and I've seen Carrie Harling's video, and I've seen Miss Vicky's video, and I'll link all of them because everybody does things in a different way, which is what's nice about One Book July. I mean, I know it started probably as something different, but I mean, the nice thing is it's sort of like January all over again. So it's not that you can't reboot your planning system. Like in January, you've bought all your stuff and you're just waiting for January 1st, and then February 1st you realize that it's just a complete fail, and then you start something else. And I I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, you should really do that. But then there isn't like an official reboot again until next January, until One Book July started. It was sort of something that felt like you were starting anew again, officially, like you do in January. So, and I was very unsettled. I mean, I don't think I've ever not done it, but I was particularly unsettled this year. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my pages and what I'm doing. And I'm in a binder again. I'm in a, you know, like a Filofax-ish binder. It's a Franklin, no, it's a Daytimer leather binder from around the late 80s. I think 88, because there were actually, there's actually an insert supplement, so you can order your inserts for 89 or 89. So this is like an 88 binder, and it's something I've never used before, in that it is entirely like hard, structured, no floppiness, very book-like. And I never thought this would be something that was appealing to me, and I'm shocked that it is. And it belonged to somebody who gave it to me, that used to use it for work. It was given out by her company in the 80s. It even has, you know, like a monogram that they put on for her. And really the reason that I took it was because it came with Daytimer inserts, and Daytimer inserts fit in a Filofax. And I thought, well, I can try that again. And when I got it home, I was really so surprised how much I liked it. And I set about trying to decide what to do. And at the time, I had watched Maryanne Mull's videos. I have always been a huge fan of her videos because her setup is perfection in a way that you can only have a perfect setting when you're actually making and tweaking your own pages, I think. You know, if she needs more space, she adds more space. If she needs more, you know, tracking, she does more tracking. If she needs more room for tasks, the next month she'll do more for tasks. And she uses a Hyperdex, which is a radial planner, which is something I've always really liked because I have some sleep things, and I have to track sleep and medicine, and really it's a 24-hour thing. So I'm going to open this up for a second, and get to it and show you all what I'm doing. Okay, on to the inside of the binder and the setup. I just wanted to show you this binder again. It's really stiff, and it's very, you know, Winchester-like. If you look at it, there's a really tight pocket here, and there is no pocket in the back. There's just a, I guess this is for the rings. I have no idea. The ring size of this is between my Portland and my Portland Grand. So it's between 23 and 30 millimeters. Now my Portland Grand would be, I would be able to get more in here. I had originally set everything up in the regular Portland until I got this binder. And then I was just like, I don't know. I just loved it. No explanation. It doesn't have pockets. It's got one teeny tiny pen loop. It's got smaller rings than I really need. And yet it is crazy appealing to me. So one of the things I like about it is I really was driving myself crazy. I was walking around the house with these plastic bins full of stuff and all kinds of pockets and sacks and I don't know, you know, just like all the stuff I needed for my planning. I never knew what I needed, so I would be like just dragging like Santa sack full of Post-it notes everywhere I went in the house, and it was really driving me crazy. So I'm really trying to get what I need down to a binder, a bag for pens, and then this with Post-its and little things in it. This is actually something I made. It's a felted pocket, and I'm just trying to keep like any like samples of tape and Post-its and stuff in here and use it up and then pick up some more. And I'm using a Coletto mostly because mostly I'm writing in pencil, and I love the fact that the Coletto has a pencil and an eraser attachment, and then I also have in here a black and red pen, and then I'm also using another Clito that has a pencil and an eraser and a black and a blue black pen. So really simple. So on to what I kind of keep with me. I use these. This is actually half the pack. I get them from Kawaii Tokyo on Etsy, and I use them on the top. I don't know if you can see. Let's see. Let me see if I can find them for you. Yeah. So these little tabs at the top are sort of my way of, well, kind of tracking. So there are things that I want to do and experience success with, if that makes any sense. I actually did a video, I don't know how long ago, it was over a year, on the fact that it was really hard for me to make left turns in the car. I would get really nervous about making a left turn where there was traffic coming both ways. It just made me so nervous that I almost always made right turns and then turned around somewhere down the road. So when I made a left turn, I know this just sounds so stupid, but you know, everybody has their little things, I guess. So when I made a left turn, I started to make conscious decisions to try to make left turns. And when I made one, I would put one on the top. And I, you know, it was weird because then I could see like all these little, I would look at my planner and I would see all these little left turns that I made. And it was sort of like seeing my success right in front of me. It wasn't like filling in a typical tracker, like a monthly tracker like people do in the bullet journals, because then you kind of only see that what you didn't do when you look at it. You don't, if you miss one thing you're tracking in a whole month, you don't see the 30 days that you did what you wanted to. You only see that one where you feel like you just totally screwed it up. So with here, when I'm trying to get a history of success, basically, I can look at the top and I can see all the times that I succeeded in what I was trying to do. And if there were days that didn't have any, there were days that didn't have any, and they didn't stick out. Unlike when you're tracking something on a big, you know, bullet journal chart. So that is what I use these for. I also use the green ones to cover my weight because I want to keep track of them. I'm in a program in a hospital. It's a metabolic weight loss program, it's called, and they really do everything there, from managing with diet, or like I'm on metformin now, so medication if you have, you know, diabetes or insulin resistance or whatever, all the way to bariatric surgery. And to be honest, I didn't really care what they were going to do to me or not going to do to me. I just couldn't stand being at the weight anymore. So I do have to track it, but I do not have to look at it. I write it down and that's like the end of it. So I have a section for contacts because I know you can put them in your phone, but it's like a pain in the neck to me. I mean, it's easy to find, but I find that I just never put the addresses in. So it's easier for me to just put them in a binder. And these, so I also do a couple things with, DIY Fish has a monthly, I think everybody's seen this. I mean, Filofax has this kind of page. Everybody has this kind of page. But I really like the DIY Fish inserts, and she was probably the first one to do these as a printable on Etsy, and so I really like to support her because a lot of her stuff is now sort of being done in one fashion or another, you know, by somebody else. And so I just like to give her the business because she was definitely the original person doing them. So I track different things. I wear a Fitbit, and so there are things that I write down and keep track of using these yearly calendars. I'm on this, like, right, this one is how many steps I do, how many active hours I had, and how many, flights of stairs I went up and down. And I am undecided whether I'm going to add another one because I sort of tried to track a lot of things on this one, and I'm wondering if it wouldn't be easier to track these things separately. These pages, I printed them on Tomoe River paper, really thin, would not take up that much room to do different things on different pages. Might be easier to show my doctor that way. And this is another reason why I haven't done a One Book July video, is that I haven't filled in my months, which is really important to me, and I really need it. I was trying to get everything done before I did this video, but that just didn't happen. Okay, so since I started printing, I've never been able to print my inserts, and I don't know why I was able to exactly. This is shiny, so it's a little glary. I don't exactly know why I wasn't able to the last time. I suspect it's two things. One, I'm now printing on personal size pages. I'm not printing to cut, and maybe it's something in the formatting of Maryanne's files. I don't know. And I also have a much better printer, and I suspect that's probably part of it. Being able to print personal-sized pages eliminates a problem that I had that I don't think there's a solution to on a lot of printers, in that when you duplex, even though you can duplex print, they're always somewhat off-center. But if you're printing directly on personal-sized pages, then the back and the front are going to be pretty much the same. So now I'm printing all kinds of stuff that I've always wanted to print, and some of that are recipes, and I'm printing them directly on personal-sized pages. And I'm so crazy into printing my own pages that I sort of like run the risk of now printing so many extraneous pages that I don't have enough room for my monthly pages, but hopefully I'll get over that. So this little envelope is the little thing that Maryanne does, in that she puts the little, she doesn't carry, if she makes a mistake, instead of like redoing the whole page, she will cut out the part of the page where she made a mistake, paste it on, and it'll be all fresh and new, and I think that's a really good idea. And these are her side tabs. I had them all in here because they print out on personal sized. It would be like, like this, and then all the way down. And so I just decided to cut up the pages a little bit since I didn't have a lot of room in my binder. And you can see how they attach onto the side. And I really like that, because one of the reasons I liked weekly pages is I could see what was coming up that week. I tried a couple weekly type things this year that didn't work for me because I also needed a lot of room in a daily aspect, but I missed the fact that I knew what was coming up for me, and these really help. And so I started at the very end of June, and I've taken June out. There will be a hyperdex in here. I have the stamp, but I'm just a terrible stamper. So what I did is I used the timeline that were from the Reme Da Vinci inserts, and this is a 24-hour timeline, so I could track what I wanted to track. And frankly, I got sick of this because it's basically ugly. So the way the inserts are for Maryanne is you can order them with, these are the tracking boxes, and you can order a set of inserts with the icons or without the icons. And I got the ones with the icons because the majority of them I can use. Um, and I know a lot of people feel like weird about leaving boxes empty, empty space. But, one of the problems I had with the Hobonichi cousin was that I could fill up the page and I could get everything in there that I wanted to get in there, but I would like never be able to find it when I was looking back. Like if I had, I mean, I could eventually find the information, but I just like never knew on the page where to look for it. Whereas now, if I have to go through the pages and find something, if I'm looking for something about my son, it'll be in here. If I'm looking for something about my dogs, it'll be in here. Um, so I could use enough of the icons, and I could see people, getting the plain ones and using stamps or, whatever, writing headings. But for me, this was just something that it was one less thing I had to do. And if I want to cover the icons, I can cover the icons. Um, One of the things I did here, and I've sort of altered this because another reason I haven't done, One Book July yet is I really, really wanted to have everything all set, have my color coding for the hyperdeck set, have the way I was writing set, and I just said to forget it. This is just evolving. So I put my meals, my steps, my activity in here, which is actually two separate things, and I just do a border around two boxes, and to me that makes it look like one separate section. And I'm using pencil. I'm primarily using pencil. So here I'm just trying to figure out, what I want to do and how I want to track and how I want to plan. And just for the heck of it, I put in a picture because it's the way Maryanne uses it, and these are called Plan Like Maryanne, is all the planning is on the right and all the tracking is on the left. And I do that mostly, with a few exceptions. Like I take pills in the morning and at night, and I swear to God, I don't know how I forget, but I forget. So I'll put a two pencil marks for the times I would take them, and then I would just write over that in pen when I finally do it. So technically I'm planning and tracking on this side, but I don't really think it matters that much. So you can see what I'm doing there. And here's another page. I got some of these Zig clear color markers, trying to figure out what I wanted to use for the hyperdex tracking. And then I decided I was really tired of that page, that piece in the middle, because it blocks this side, and I just started to stamp them. And I'm not very good at stamping, so yeah. So I stamp a bunch of them, and whatever one comes out best, I use. So that was the first day I did it. And I'm still working on the colors here. So this was like a busy day. This was the day my washing machine broke, and that's what this little house picture is about. It's like details about calling a repairman and when they were going to come and what the result was, and frankly it made me sick that I didn't have a washer. I didn't want to look at it, so I put a little picture over it. And these are the other things. These are her weekly to do tip-ins, which also helped me a lot with what I was talking about, which is figuring out what needs to be done weekly. There are things that I do weekly, you know, like water plants and change linens and things like that, and also appointments that I have. So when this is out, I can see any appointments that I have and anything that I need to do. And here's another page. And another page. I also like these little pentagons. You can sort of track sort of 5 things. I'm doing like sleep and energy and exercise and overall feeling, and I can't remember. There was one more thing. And I'm not really like, it's just sort of like an estimate of how I feel, basically. There's no rhyme or reason why I make one higher than another. It's just sort of an impression of how the day went. This was information about the size of my washer because I did need another one. And it's another day. Here's another one of these. Here's another one of the side tabs. Still working on getting the hyperdeck to look the way I want. This was today. And I decided I might try, instead of doing 2 vertical columns, I thought it might be easier to do 2 squares. Because of how I write when I plan, writing my to-dos out horizontally is just easier for me than having to write them vertically, and I thought I could fit the information about food and exercise and things like that. So this is going really well. I'm actually getting some hyperdeck circles from Maryanne. She does, I think she does have them on her Etsy shop. She talked about maybe making them available for a download. She said that in a video. I don't really know whether that's going to happen or not. But obviously most people are better at stamping than me, so not a problem. And here's what I was trying to work out, what meant what on the zig markers and how I wanted to use the cores. And then, so all I have in here is July, because I cut up a small Clairefontaine notebook, and while the paper is really nice, it's really thick. I did print June on the Tomoe River paper, but for some reason I was getting like ink streaks. I think it just doesn't dry fast enough on that particular paper. But I think I'm going to try it again because I would like to get like 2 months in here if possible. Another section is home stuff. Here's some information about a washing machine. Here are things, basically things I want to clean by room. Here's my new curtains. I just love them. This is so cool. This is the Day Runner catalog for 1989. And I mean, I know I'm totally like a planner geeking out on this, but I just love stuff like this. And so it's like in here. So I have some pockets and some envelopes for extra stuff, and frankly they probably take up too much room, so I'm undecided about that. And then I also have a this is just, it's sort of almost like just a plain like flyleaf, but it has pencil and pen holders. And yeah, so that's really it. I'm going to try to upload this today. I'm going to link everybody's videos. And it's really, it's interesting because Romany and Carrie and Vicky all use their planners somewhat differently. I mean, Romany runs a business. She's an art teacher, and so she does online teaching. So she uses planners for things like that. She also does a lot of art in them, a lot of expression, a lot of like a commonplace book. I mean, there's a lot of stuff packed in her book, and it's amazing. And Miss Vicky uses generally her setup is the same, and she goes from planner to planner, but she does a fair amount of artwork also, and she does a lot. And I think she's a well, she was an online uh, teacher, but I'm not sure. I know she's doing something now. I don't remember if it's online, but she's working. And I know Carrie, I know she has her own business, like a web. I don't know if she's a developer or a coder. And she also has the online magazine. And she does work for her husband. And she has a lot of children. And everybody has like a different schedule. And she manages everything out of a planner. So, you know, all of them have a different perspective on One Book July and planning. So it's really good to watch them all. And I'll also link Maryanne because, Maryanne was, the inspiration for my doing this. And she has videos on her inserts on how they evolved. Also separate ones on her new printable ones. Okay, so my camera filled up and cut out, and I'm going to finish it. So what I was saying is about Maryanne. She has videos on her setup as it evolves, her new printable Plan Like Maryanne inserts, and I will link them, along with a video on her side tabs and weekly to-do tip-ins, which are also available. You can, even if you don't buy her daily pages, you can buy the tip-ins and the side tabs together as a different order, which honestly, if I was not using her inserts, I would probably still want to use the tip-ins and the side tabs. So I guess that's it. Long video like I used to do. Haven't done one this long in a really long time, but I am up here with my dogs. Right, Ventura? And that's Joey. Everybody's quiet. And yeah. I guess that's it. And thanks everybody for sticking around. I hope you liked the video.